A lot of people think that by just telling their story for a refugee claim, they can win their case, but that's actually not the case in itself. You have to show proof of what you are saying. You have to show evidence and documents behind the story that you are stating. No, evidence isn't just medical reports or police reports. It goes a lot further in that. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to build a strong application and how to provide strong evidence for your refugee claim in Canada. In Canada, evidence is any type of documentation that can support your refugee claim. So this can include medical reports, police reports, witness testimonies, your personal affidavit, country conditions, and even news articles. Something more important here, guys, is that you don't actually need perfect evidence in order to win your refugee claim. The evidence that you do provide should support and deliver your testimony and the narrative that you have submitted. One of the strongest evidence that you can provide is your actual testimony in itself. So that's when you go into the hearing and you give your testimony and you talk about what has happened and why you are seeking a refugee claim. Now, this testimony has to be clear, detailed, and consistent so that the member can see you as a credible person. If you are not considered credible, then that can destroy your refugee claim really fast. And you have to be very specific. You cannot provide vague answers like, I was afraid, I got scared. You have to be specific, and you have to be very specific about the risk that is to you. For example, you have to be specific in situations like who has threatened you, how is your life at risk, why is your life specifically at risk. The more detailed and consistent your testimony is, the stronger it is. Now, another really strong piece of evidence that will help your case is country conditions. So this is information about the country in itself and what is going on there. Now, Canada actually does, or IRB has its own national document package, which is great, and you can use that in your refugee claim. However, it might not be the most up-to-date, so you should do your own research to be able to provide country conditions information to support your claim. But if the country conditions don't support what you are saying, then that can actually really harm your case. So for example, if you say there is a specific gang that is following me and wants to hurt me, or you can show country conditions like news articles or reports on that specific gang in that specific area or that specific country. This piece of evidence is really important because it shows what is going on in that country and not just what has happened to you. Here are some common mistakes I see a lot of people make, and that is as follows. Whether the narrative is copy and pasted, and yes, the Immigration Refugee Board will find out. If your documentation is not consistent to what you are saying, waiting last minute to provide documentation, or if relying on your emotional testimony in itself and you think that's going to help you get your refugee claim approved. At the end of the day, having a strong refugee claim application does depend on your evidence, and it's really important to have the right evidence for your claim because each claim is different and you're going to need different type of documentation to support it, and that's why legal strategy is really, really important in itself too.